another week of NFL football in the bag. Week 5 is done and dusted for the most part. Raiders-Chiefs is still going on as I'm recording this video. It's like sometime in the third quarter right now, but I'm hoping that by the time I get to that game at the bottom of my list, it will be done and I can just talk about it then. Unfortunately, because I've been gone, I was gone last Thursday through Sunday, I wasn't able to watch much of these games, if at all. I'll put up a video tomorrow talking all about where I was and what I was doing, but so I'm mainly going to be looking at stats and talking about that in this video. I found a few little interesting tidbits of news and such to bring into the conversation, but also at the top we have to talk about the biggest news story this week, an absolutely devastating blow to the NFL community and fan base. Blake Bortles has retired from professional football. I'm not sure how we're going to recover from this. It's dark days ahead. Okay, let's get into it. I said that the Broncos would beat the Colts, and wow, the Broncos. This was just a terrible game all across the board. Neither team was good. This game went to overtime, tied 9-9. Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan both put up all-time career bad games, to the point where some people were overreacting a little bit. Some people were saying, like, oh, after this game, like, Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan are, like, throwing away any chances they have at making the Hall of Fame, things like that. I don't know if I'd go that far, but definitely a bottom 5 game for both these guys' careers. Final score is 12-9 in favor of the Colts. And this was in Denver. Just a really not a great game. Not a single touchdown scored this entire game. It was all just field goal. Matt Ryan went 26 of 41 for 251 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Russell Wilson went 21 for 39, 274 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Notably, he had a wide open receiver, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, in the end zone, and instead he threw a ball that got, I don't remember, was that one picked or is it just broken up? I don't remember. I think it might have been picked. But yeah, as a Seahawks fan, I got flashbacks from that one. Just terrible game on both sides. And I saw some stats. It says the Colts and Broncos combined for minus 17 yards in the red zone. This is a real stat. So both teams combined, once they got into the red zone, no yards gained. Every time they lost yardage. And not great. And I think this was the Broncos' third primetime game. I think they're poised to have another one soon. It really seemed like the NFL was expecting the Broncos and Russell Wilson to be getting off to a better start than they have been, but it's been a career bad year for him, and the Broncos are now sitting at 2-3, which is third in the AFC West, not where they were expected to be right now. But speaking of expected to be right now, I expected the New York Jets to beat the Dolphins. That was a terrible transition, and they did. They beat the brakes off them 40-17 in favor of the Jets. Skylar Thompson in QB for the Dolphins with Tua Tagovailoa out. I've not heard of this guy before. I don't know if he's a career backup or what. But 40-17, like I said. Skylar Thompson, 19 completions on 33 attempts, 166 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. They also had Bridgewater at some point, but it looks like he might have gotten hurt. Zach Wilson, 14 completions on 21 attempts, 210 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. However, Zach Wilson did have a rushing touchdown, so at the top it says that Teddy Bridgewater got an intentional grounding, which resulted in a safety, which you never want to see. So Bridgewater did play, but eventually they brought in this guy Skylar Thompson, so I'm not sure if Bridgewater got hurt. Wow, that safety happened on Miami's very first offensive play. The Dolphins lost another quarterback to injury when Teddy Bridgewater was hit by rookie cornerback Ahmad Gardner on a blitz. As he was about to throw on Miami's first play from scrimmage, Bridgewater was called for an intentional grounding at the end zone in the play, resulting in a safety. Bridgewater injured his elbow and was examined for concussion before being ruled out. He was replaced by rookie Skylar Thompson. Okay. Alright, next up, I said that the Bills would beat the Steelers, and they did, and they were only expected to win by 13.5, and they went on to win by 35, final score 38-3 in favor of the Bills. Although, Kenny Pickett, oh, no, never mind, he did not have a good game. I thought I heard that Kenny Pickett had a good game, but no, 34-52 for Pickett, 327 yards, 0 TDs, 1 pick. Josh Allen, 20 completions on 31 attempts, 424 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Just crazy, 4 touchdowns, 3 of them coming in the second quarter before halftime. Just putting the foot on the neck before they go into halftime there, not a bad strategy. Buffalo Bills comfortably atop the AFC East at the moment. I don't have much to say about this game again, good team versus bad team, although an interesting thing, and I was going to talk about it. I'll talk about the rest of this later when I get to the Panthers game, but apparently the Bills have contacted the Panthers trying to get Christian McCaffrey from the Panthers. If the Bills can somehow get Christian McCaffrey and he can stay healthy, which is a big if, you might as well pencil them in to make the Super Bowl out of the AFC. That's a super team right there. If they can add Christian McCaffrey to that team that they have, especially after falling short last season, they're going to come back looking for revenge. They're hungry this season. Christian McCaffrey could put the Bills as a Super Bowl favorite. This is one I got very, very wrong. I said that the Jaguars would beat the Texans. I thought that Trevor Lawrence, I thought he'd bounce back, because he put together 2 good games and he had 1 stinker. I wouldn't say, he did actually kind of have a stinker this game. Davis Mills, your winning quarterback, 16 completions on 24 attempts, 140 yards, 0 TDs, 0 picks. Trevor Lawrence, 25 completions on 47 attempts, 286 yards, 0 TDs, but 2 interceptions, 2 picks for Trevor Lawrence, who is back to riding the struggle bus. He had 2 really good games, and now he's had 2 bad games back to back. That one last week was particularly bad. He had 4 fumbles, which is the most any player's had in a single game, but not looking good for Trevor Lawrence. I was hoping, I don't know, but not good. Texans get their first win, though. They win it 13-6 over the Jaguars. Next up, I said the Chargers would beat the Browns. This game was super, super, super tight. Super tight, but the Chargers managed to get the dub. What's crazy, though, is this wasn't really a shootout. It was, save for 1 passing touchdown each way, this was all rushes. We get to 30-20 in favor of the Chargers, all on rushing touchdowns and field goals for each team. Not a lot of, passing touchdowns here. Justin Herbert, 22 completions on 34 attempts, 228 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Jacoby Brissett starting again, same amount of attempts with 34, but 1 fewer completion with 21. Although he does get 2 more yards, 230 yards, 1 touchdown as well, but he also got an interception. Then you have Eckler. Eckler got 173 yards off 16 carries. He has a touchdown as well. That's 10.8 average. That's nuts. And then Nick Chubb got 134 off of 17. That's 7.9 average, and he got 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb has just been an absolute beast all season for the Browns. And he continued that this week. Just came up a little bit short. Ravens against the Bengals. I said Ravens would win, and they did in a bit of a nail-biter. Final score 19-17. The Ravens win by 2 in a game that they are favored by nearly 4. Joe Burrow, 24 completions on 35 attempts, 217 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Lamar Jackson, 19 of 32, 174 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So they do get the win still, but not an amazing game from Lamar. He had that really bad game. I believe that was last week. And he dropped out of being the favorite for MVP after this game. And I have to assume his performance this week was not good enough to put him back into that number 1 spot. He might still be at number 3 at the moment. I'm not sure. I can take a look. Let's see, NFL MVP odds at the moment. At the end of week 5. Josh Allen is now your favorite to win MVP. That's the same as it was last week. Patrick Mahomes is 2nd. Jalen Hurts is now 3rd. That's up from last week. And Lamar Jackson has dropped to 4th. He has dropped to 4th in the MVP betting odds. Not great for him. Alright, moving on. The Lions at the Patriots. I did not see this coming. I have to be honest, I did not see this coming. Patriots shut out the Lions 29-0. This is the best offense in the NFL through the first 4 weeks. The Lions had the best, highest producing offense. It was just their defense that was an issue. But in this game, the offense dried up as well, and it's not even like the Patriots have that amazing of a defense. Like, it's not bad, but they're 2-3, you know. Yeah, and Jared Goff, 19 for 35, 229 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Bailey Zappe, C-A-P-P-E, 17 completions on 21 attempts, 188 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Rookie quarterback. Already people are like, this is the next Tom Brady. Like, this is exactly what happened to Tom Brady. He was a backup. He came in when his starter got hurt. Like, people are already, like, making those comparisons, even though, let's be honest, probably not going to happen. But yeah, just Jared Goff had a terrible game. He got a fumble that went back for a touchdown. Not good. And the Detroit Lions, like I said, best defense, or no, best offense rather, in the NFL, and they got completely shut out. I think they were the only team this entire week that got shut out. Let me do a quick check of every other game just to make sure. Yeah, they were the only team this week to get shut out, and like I said, through the first 4 weeks, they had the best offense in the league, so definitely not something you expected to see there. Titans at Commanders. I expected the Titans to win this one, and they do get the win, 21-17 in favor of Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill goes 15 for 25, 181 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. Carson Wentz had himself a very nice game. He actually outplayed Tannehill in the loss. 25 for 38, 359 yards, almost 400 yards for Wentz, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The difference here, though, the X factor was Derrick Henry, who got 2 touchdowns on 28 carries this game. In a game you win by 4, that is the deciding factor. And what's funny is Washington was actually favored in this game. They probably should have won this game, just looking at the stats, but Derrick Henry on the 1 yard line twice made all the difference there. All the difference. Alright, next up, Giants and Packers in London at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, who just last week hosted a game between the Saints and somebody else. I can't remember who was playing in that game. I predicted the Packers to win this one, and I was wrong. The Giants get the win, 27-22. The Giants are now 4-1-0, but even with only 1 loss, that's still only good for 3rd in the NFC East. And Packers now have 2 losses through their first 2 weeks. Craziness. I know the Packers, Aaron Rodgers was saying to expect a step back this season because he lost, his best offensive weapons, but did not expect this, especially against the Giants, especially in a game. Green Bay was an 8.5 point favorite this game. If you bet the under on Green Bay here and them to lose, you could make some pretty decent money on this game. Daniel Jones, 21 completions, 27 attempts, 217 yards, no touchdowns, nor interceptions. Aaron Rodgers, 25 completions on 39 attempts, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Okay. Next up, where is this? I have to wait till I get to the Arizona game to talk about this little piece of news. Bears at Vikings at US Bank Stadium. I said the Vikings would win. They get the W, 29-22. It's Justin Fields versus Kirk Cousins. And oh my god, it's a miracle Justin Fields got a passing touchdown. Justin Fields was 15 for 21, 208 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He actually ends up outplaying Kirk Cousins, who goes 32 completions on 41 attempts, 296 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But yeah, Justin Fields getting a passing touchdown. I feel like he doesn't get that many of those. They don't let him pass the ball that much. It's a lot of running once they get into the red zone. Especially because that was a 9-yard touchdown catch. They went for 2 but didn't work, but still. Good on them. Good on Justin Fields getting that, but Kirk Cousins and the Vikings pull out the win. And Seahawks beat the Saints. I got this one wrong. Although, really the Seahawks should have won this one. The defense for Seattle was abysmal this game. 32-39 is your final score in favor of the Saints. Geno Smith continues to play out of his mind, and he deserved a win this week. And I saw this tweet that said Seattle's defense is single-handedly costing Geno Smith MVP considerations, because he is the highest rated quarterback by Pro Football Focus through the first 5 weeks of the season. He has the best QB rating through the first 5 weeks of the season, and the Seahawks are 2-3, and they're at the bottom of the NFC West. Geno Smith, 16 completions on 25 attempts, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Andy Dalton in for the Saints, 16 completions on 24 attempts, 187 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Geno Smith had a QB rating of 139.7 this game, almost 140. and this still wasn't enough to get it done. The defense really let down Geno in the offense. The nice thing is that the Seahawks offense looks better than ever. Looks better than it did the last 2 weeks under Russ, or the last 2 years under Russ. But just now the defense is struggling, and the Seahawks could very easily be 3-2 or 4-1. As a Seahawks fan, it's been very frustrating watching this terrible defense. Anyways, moving on, I said the Buccaneers would beat the Falcons, and they did, but they did not beat the spread. The Buccaneers were a 10.5 point favorite. They ended up winning by 6, 21-15 over the Falcons in Tampa. And people didn't know Tom was going to play this game because it is now confirmed that he and Giselle are getting divorced. Previously there were rumors floating around, but now we have, concrete evidence. They both have lawyers and all that involved. So, Marcus Mariota, 14 completions on 25 attempts, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interception. Thomas Brady, 35 completions on 52 attempts. 52 attempts. Tom Brady was just slinging that thing around. He had more completions than Mariota had attempts. 351 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions for Tom Brady, but you'd think with 351 yards, 35 completions, the Buccaneers would put up more than 21 points. I guess that is some sort of testament to the Falcons' defense, if nothing else. Alright, next up, the Niners beat the Panthers. I predicted that, and it did come true. 37-15 in favor of the Niners, who, by the way, are now 3-2 and first place in the NFC West. Who saw that coming? Like I said last week, I believe, or the week before, Jimmy Garoppolo is never losing that starting spot. Like, the minute Jimmy Garoppolo came back in, they, fire out 3 wins in a row. I don't understand why they ever thought that anybody other than Jimmy G should start. Speaking of Jimmy G, 18 completions on 30 attempts, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Baker Mayfield went 20 for 36, 215 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and that 1 interception was a pick 6. Not good for Baker. Few things happened after this game. Well, really one thing. The Panthers fired head coach Matt Rule. I believe he was 3 years into his 5-year contract. So now they have an interim head coach till the end of the season. Somebody pointed out Baker Mayfield will be playing for his 6th head coach in 5 NFL seasons. So Baker's now had Hugh Jackson, Greg Williams, Freddie Kitchens, Kevin Stefanski, Matt Rule, and now Steve Wilkes as his head coaches. Not a single good coach in the bundle there. And between going to the Browns and then now going to Carolina, it kind of feels like Baker's been set up to fail. Not that he's been good by any stretch of the imagination, but that also kind of ties into the rumor I talked about earlier, Christian McCaffrey going to Buffalo. He's probably just tired of the mediocrity in Carolina. Nothing's confirmed, obviously, but definitely where there is smoke, there may be fire. Okay, Cowboys in California. I called this one correctly. I said it was going to be an upset. I said that it was going to feel like a Cowboys home game in there, and I was right on both counts. Stafford, fumble, returned for a touchdown, opening score of the game. Immediately getting off to a bad start for the Rams. Final score, Cowboys 22-10 in favor of the Cowboys. The Rams are now 2-2 3. They're second in the NFC West. And I believe they're tied with the Cardinals, but they have the divisional tiebreaker, so. But Cooper Rush, who now is 4-0 or 5-0, because they said 4-0, but he'd only played 3 weeks, but maybe he had one last season, I don't know, but Cooper Rush is now apparently 5-0 as a starter for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think Dak Prescott is getting his job back until Cooper Rush gets an L, like he's won 4 games in a row. Cooper Rush, 10 completions on 16 attempts, 102 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So Cooper Rush wasn't really doing much. He was just kind of getting them into good field position. Pollard did a ton of work, 86 yards on 8 carries, which is absolutely insane, 10.8 average, and he got a touchdown as well. Stafford in the loss got 308 yards, 28 completions on 42 attempts, 1 touchdown, and an interception. Just, the Rams are 2-3. I think a lot of people had kind of penciled them in, like, if not for a repeat, then to at least make it back to the Super Bowl. They were kind of viewed as a super team. The Rams were a 5-point favorite, but I mean, the Rams added, like, Bobby Wagner. They added, I can't remember off the top of my head, but obviously they lost Odell Beckham. They lost some other pieces, but still, like, on paper, the Rams should be one of the best teams in the league, and there's still some time for them to bounce back. Maybe they'll get back. You know, the NFC West is very weak, so there's still a chance, but yeah, this loss to the Cowboys without Dak is not great. But wow, Cooper Rush is the story of the season. Cooper Rush is the story of the season, for me at least. Next up, Eagles at Cardinals. I said the Eagles would beat the Cardinals, and they did. I got a comment on my preview video, somebody saying that they were going to bet $100 on the Eagles because of my prediction. First of all, please do not do that. Do not take anything I say as advice, gambling advice, anything. I don't know if you guys know, but I am like 500 for the season right now. If you listen to what I say, you will lose just as often as you will win. But in saying that, I hope that guy did put in his $100 bet, because he would have made some money. Maybe not a ton, because the Eagles were favored here, but he would have made some money. Eagles win it 20-17. They remain the only undefeated team in the NFL, going to 5-0. And yeah, Jalen Hurts is now the 3rd in MVP odds. Speaking of Jalen Hurts, 26 completions on 36 attempts, 239 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. We did have 2 1-yard rushing touchdowns, like QB sneak type stuff. Kyler Murray, 28 completions on 42 attempts, 250 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Now I can bring out this little thing I found. It said 3 quarterbacks signed massive extensions this offseason. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and Kyler Murray. Through the first 5 weeks, all of them are playing the worst football of their entire career. When you invest that kind of money into a guy, you do not want him to then turn around and play the worst football of his entire career. I think we've seen a lot of teams throw around huge money to quarterbacks in recent years. And I think that this particular little piece of information might cause some teams to maybe taper back a little bit on how much they're giving their quarterbacks, because look at your best quarterbacks right now. Jalen Hurts, not making a ton of money. Let's see how much Jalen Hurts is making. Jalen Hurts, contract. Jalen Hurts is making $1 million a year. $1 million a year. That's crazy. He's considered the most undervalued contract in the league. Cooper Rush who's just won 4 games in a row. I bet he's not making anything. Cooper Rush contract. Cooper Rush is making less than $1 million a year. $845,000. And he has not lost a game when he started at quarterback yet. Just crazy stuff. I think that this season might kind of change up the way the NFL's doing business. We'll see. Right now, there's 2 minutes left in the Raiders-Chiefs game. It is 30-29 in favor of the Chiefs. Obviously, you can see that I have chosen them. I think they're going to win. This is a crazy game. The Chiefs were a 7.5 point favorite. Right now, they're winning by 1. So theoretically, they could still break the spread. But who has the ball right now? Right now it is Raiders ball, 3rd and 1 on the 32, minute 38. So I'm going to pause this recording right here. And as soon as this game ends, I'm going to talk about this last game. So I will be right back. I think I did that correctly. Anyway, the game just ended. While I was waiting for it to end, I went down and I had some huckleberry ice cream, which was absolutely delicious. By the way, Chiefs beat Raiders. Well, they sure do. The Raiders were putting together a pretty decent drive there. That last little bit of the game, they just couldn't quite get it into field goal range. 29-30 in favor of the Chiefs. That is your final score. Derek Carr, 19 completions on 30 attempts, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Patrick Mahomes, 29 completions on 43 attempts, 292 yards, 4 touchdowns. 0 interceptions. This game featured a combined 6 touchdowns between your 2 quarterbacks. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But look at that. I have my best week so far. By far. An amazing, amazing week. And what do I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went 11 for 16 this week. 11 for 16 for a total for 11 for 16. Alright, let's get my calculator out. Calc. 11 divided by 16. That is a 69% correct. 69% correct. I'm not gonna be mad about that. Alright. Really quickly, I need to pull up last week's video, last week's review, and see what my totals were that game. Week 4 review. Let's pull that bad boy up. Let's see. Oh, where's my complete? Okay, so last week I went 33.5 out of 64. So I'm now sitting at 44.5 out of 80. 44.5 out of 84. So I did a little bit better. My grand total's still not great. But I'm now sitting at 56% correct. 56% correct on the season. It's going to take a few more weeks like this to drag me out of the mud, but this has so far been my best week. I I got more than 10 correct. Love to see it. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching. NFL Week 5 is done. This Wednesday, we got predictions for Week 6. Tomorrow I have this little ramble video talking about what happened over my weekend, things like that. So, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day. Also, go Mariners. Beat the Blue Jays in Toronto, won both games. I think it's the second biggest or the biggest playoff comeback in MLB history. They went down. They were down 8-1 at one point. They ended up winning the game. I believe it was 9-8. Just an amazing game from the Mariners. Edge of my seat the whole time. Anyways, until next time, guys. Bye bye.